Emma, I had taken long without dancing. So when we were doing that little dancing, I also had fun. I remember when I was at university, one of the things that I spent time on was dancing. But I'll share that as we go along. Let us pray. Father, we thank you so much for the gift of life. We thank you for giving us the opportunity to breathe today, while many are struggling for just that last minute breath. We thank you, God, that by your grace, we are still alive and we are able to come to church and be ministered to. Thank you, God, for the opportunity you have given me to speak to your children. Father, speak through me. Choose the words that only will benefit them, O Lord. I thank you for the opportunity that these ones have received to come to the university and to study. Father, we ask you for provision throughout their time of study. And we pray that this time will be meaningful to their lives and that we shall go back different. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Yes, I thank Emma and the team that is organizing the orientation week for giving me the opportunity to come here and speak to you. My name is Eva Naziwa Luvoa. I am married to a man, and he's called Daniel Luvoa. And we have children. We have 5 children, 1 girl and 4 boys. And 2 of the boys are twins. So we have another name of Nalongo added onto our names. And 8 to 5, I work with the National Social Security Fund in the Human Resource Department as one of the human resource managers there. But outside office, I engage in so many different things, and part of it is I belong to the Mothers Union of St. Francis Chapel here, and once in a while I keep talking to people like you. And so I thank God for what he's doing in my life. Today I'm going to share with you on a topic of social interaction while at university. And social interaction simply means how do you act with the people you relate with at university, or how do you react to the behaviors or whatever people tell you or what people are doing. What is your reaction? So on one side, it is how do you relate with the other people in terms of how do you engage with them, or how do you react to what people do. That is basically a brief definition of social interactions. Now, while at university, you're relating with very many kinds of people. And some of these are your fellow students that you study with, your roommates, your lecturers, the people who work within the university. If you stay within St. Francis Chapel, you'll also interact with a lot of staff within the St. Francis administration, or people who pray within the university. You're also going to interact with also people who don't belong to the university, but seem to be like they are university students. Yeah? There are people who will interact with you, and before you realize it, you will observe that actually they were not even students, they were not even staff, they were not even, lecturers, but then they live within the community of the university. I also acknowledge the fact that when we come as university students, we have our needs. We have our personal needs. Some of you require upkeep, and some of you require money for the hostel. Some of you require money for your books, your pens, scholastic materials. Some of you require money for food. Some of you require, let's say, money for transport if you're living outside the university. You have various different personal needs as a student. Now, some of you might have been shocked like me when I was at the university. The first shock that I received was my parents told me that I'm not going to study at Makerere, I'm going to study at Uganda Martyrs University. But I had never known about Uganda Martyrs University. All my life I knew Makerere was the university to be. So they tell me you're going to Uganda Martyrs University. So as I'm still nursing that shock, on the day they take me, my roommate is actually Burundian, and she doesn't know English. So I'm like, on top of being very far from Kampala, even the roommate does not know English. So I got a shocker of my life. I don't know what shock you people have found in your 1 week experience. It could be maybe a roommate who doesn't like you. Maybe some people are saying, I don't want to be this one's roommate. Maybe the roommate has very high standards, or the roommate has very low standard, and you feel, this one is too low for me to be with in the same room. I don't know what shock that you have, but certainly as a fresher, you might also experience shock. Now, the university is a very, very good place. It gives you a lot of opportunities. Some opportunities are very good. Others are going to come to you as temptations, as bad opportunities. The good side of the story is that when you come to the university, you have an opportunity and you have a bright future. For us who work in the human resource department, the university degree is now becoming the basic requirement of education in many of the organizations. Gone are the days when we used to require O-level or A-level. Like in my organization where I work, for a cleaner, someone who makes tea and cleans dust around the office, we now want a degree. So this is a very good opportunity for you to come to university and have your first degree. So don't waste that opportunity. The other thing is that when you stay within the confines of St. Francis, you're going to interact with quite a number of people that may be a benefit to you in the future. This university, we call it an intellectual university. We have lecturers, we have people from all walks of professions. So if you stay within the programs of the university, somewhere, somehow, you'll come across these people, and I encourage you to engage them, and definitely you're going to benefit. Then also, you're going to build networks. You're going to meet very many people in different walks of life, even just your fellow students. Their parents might become your friend. Maybe they have connections somewhere. So you're going to build networks that will definitely be useful to not only you, but even your own children. Now, the bad side of it is that when you come to the university, you're exposed. I call it exposure because when I went to the university, my mom, I had grown up with my mom, and she wasn't there now to police over me, because when we grew up as girl children, you couldn't even escort someone to the fence, or like to the gate. If my mom saw you even escorting your friend to the gate, it was trouble. And she would punish everyone in her home and discipline them until university. So when I got my admission to university, she still controlled me until the day she dropped me off at the university. Now there I was in my own freedom. And I know many of you now have freedom. Some of you may be from schools that are single sex. You've never interacted. If you're from a boys' school, you've never interacted with girls. If you're from a girls' school, you haven't had a close relationship with the girls. And now at university, you're going to be in the same class with these boys. You'll be going for lectures together. If you come for fellowship here at St. Francis, you'll sit next to a boy or sit next to a girl. So if you haven't been used to some of these things, you might find a challenge. Now, with this freedom, it brings me to a point of self-control. If you don't learn to control yourself as a person, with this freedom, you can get derailed very, very easily. And it's even worse if your roommates are actually the wrong people. And why am I saying the wrong ones? People who are not yet focused. Because when we come to the university, especially as first years, you're thrown in the deep end and you're struggling to float. One, with the freedom. Two, with the company around you. Then with so many people that want to access you. People want to be your friend. People have different programs. People have different objectives of befriending you. People have different ideas around freshers. So when you're thrown in the deep end, the question is, how are you going to survive? And then we also have guys and ladies around the university who are looking out for new people like you. I talked about people who are not students, they are not lecturers, but they are guys around to just come and find who is the new one now, who needs to be taken around Kampala or taken around the university to show you the different buildings. Let's say you're from even up country, or you've been around Kampala but your parents don't allow you that access to see the different places. So these people are out there, and the moment you say, I'm a first year, oh, they know now this is like a hot cake that is still very innocent and easy to be swayed. So I need us to have a lot of wisdom. And there are also people who are targeting students, not necessarily first years. How many of you have heard about devil worshippers? Have you heard about devil worshippers from anywhere? Now we have those ones within the university confine. Some of them even may be your roommates. Some of them may be even people you work with. Slowly by slowly, you will need to discover these people and find yourself, okay? And these people are highly motivated to conquer many souls the wrong way. So as a fresher, I need you people to have wisdom, be in the right place to avoid going on the wrong road. You're also going to be in relationships. Many of you may not have related before. And you're going to find these guys, they could be even your classmates who have interest in you. It is no crime for a boy or a girl to tell you that I have feelings for you. It is no crime. Because it is always good to appreciate something good, okay? So don't take it so personal when somebody tells you, oh, Eva, today you're looking so beautiful. I like your smile. I mean, it's very okay for people to appreciate. But the question is, what is coming with the appreciation? Is it something that is driven towards something selfish, or are you just appreciating me for who I am, okay? So some of these people may appreciate you, and if you're not yet used to relating with the opposite sex, you're going to get derailed. My firstborn is 18. She made 18 last month. And one of the things she's always told me is that she can't wait to be 18. Now, why she tells me that? Because she knows when she's 18, mommy is now not going to have, a lot of instructions. It's going to be for talking together. And I kept telling her that for as long as you haven't shown me that you are mature, I will continue being protective to you until you show me that you are mature to be on your own. And I told her that if you show me that you're mature, then you will stay within the university. If you show me that you're not mature, then you're going to be a non-resident until you show me that you are mature. Now, I need to walk with her the journey to ensure that even when any Peter or John or Harry comes to her and tells her that, you know what, Val, I like the way you look, she's going to be already exposed, to being appreciated, so that when they sway her into doing something wrong, it will be her own personal decision. So you at university right now, it has to be your own personal decision. Let someone not sway you into doing something wrong, and especially in first year, because you're still getting used to the university, still getting used to the people, still getting used to the people that are befriending you. You're still getting used to a lot of things. In other words, you're still juggling. If you're a child that is learning how to walk, you're still learning how to walk. You're not yet ready to walk on your own. So you need to be very, very careful as a first year student. Now, at university, you have choices that you make. You may make the right choices, you may make the wrong choices, okay? Now, if you make the right choices, then you're standing in a journey of passing your exams. You're standing in a journey of building networks that will be beneficial for you in the future. You're standing on a journey that is going to maintain friendship, friends that will become relatives for yourself. Emma talked about SEL. There are days here at church where we have cell groups. If you join them, you're going to make friends that will actually be relatives that you have made for yourself. Friends that will grow to be more useful to you more than even your relatives. Now, if you make the right choices as well, you'll be attending several of these talks, and they will be on different things that definitely you're going to benefit from. Mothers Union sometimes runs different talks. We run talks on who is Mr. Right, who is Mrs. Right. If you come and attend, then you'll be able to gauge a few people who are trying to get to you and befriend you, whether are they Mr. Right, or you yourself as a girl, are you the Mrs. Right? We have different topics. You can talk about CV writing, things about if I am appearing for an interview, what do I need to prepare? How do I need to present myself? If you stay glued towards the confine of fellowship here at church, you will have access to many of these talks and they will be beneficial. I do a lot of recruitment, and sometimes you look at someone who has a first-class degree, but when you're interviewing the person, you even don't see the first class. The way that people have even written their application, they actually don't depict a quality of a first class. So I encourage you to stay within the confines of the church and get involved, be available to listen to as many talks as possible. You will definitely benefit. Now, if you make the wrong choices while here at university, you're going to stand a risk of not even passing your exam. 3 years ago, I was talking to a student who was in a relationship in first year, and in second year, the boyfriend chucked her. And she was doing agricultural engineering, and she actually got 2 retakes in that semester. Why? Because she was so broken because the boyfriend had left her. Now, by the time I walked with her through that journey to a point where I almost even talked to her mom, and she begged me not to call the mom. And we came to an understanding, and I told her that one of the reasons why you came to Makerere University and you did not stay in Ntungamo where your parents are is because you came to study. Now you have failed one of the subjects and you're going back in holiday. And then she didn't even want to go back home. And then I told her, you must go back home and tell your mom that you failed. And then I talked to her, but she was someone like they had shot dead. She would come here at church and she's like she's going to die because of a boy who had chucked her. Slowly by slowly, I talked to her and got to tell her that this degree, even in the future, even when you're married and you have problems and you have a degree, something someone can hold on to support you, this is what you should look at. And I thank God that she did her retake and she passed and she's now working. So how you relate will either break your heart, and even when it breaks your heart, there is always a way out, okay? Learn from the experience and then start up and walk again. Now, if you make the wrong choices in life, you might also experience rejection. People around you will reject you based on how you behave. People around you will laugh at you. You know when people become a laughing stock. Or when I ask about you and say, oh, how is Eva? She's actually at the university. She's doing the same course with you. And then someone begins to tell me all sorts of things that are really not good to be talked about you. Or you may become a party monger because at university when people have let free. Last holiday, my daughter was talking to me and I was telling her that when she finishes her senior 6 exams, I'm going to start taking her out. And when we go out, I will take her out to watch the band. I will take her out for a movie. And she's telling me, Mommy, you can't take me out. I'm going to university and I'm going to have a boyfriend. I'll be going out with my boyfriend. And I'm like, okay, so you want to be going out with your boyfriend? In first year, you don't want anything to do with Mommy? And she's like, yes. But of course, you can facilitate her going out, going what? And I was like, okay. Now, this is someone who is going to university in a few months, yeah? And she's telling her mom, of course I was telling her, I will be facilitating, if I have some money, I take you to the salon. Because I'm trying to do everything possible that will sway her from people influencing her at university. And here she's telling me, Mommy, When I'm at university, it has nothing to do with you. It's going to be my boyfriend, okay? So, you see the mentality people have when they come to university or when they look forward to university. So I don't know how you people are looking at it. You might be like my own daughter who is looking forward to getting a boyfriend and dating and having fun at the university. But the question is, are you empowered enough to be left in the deep end and juggle around? Now I know that I need to do a lot more in terms of this talk that I'm actually doing. I am going to have to take her through it when she comes, even before her final senior 6 exams, because I know now she's already geared towards university life. So I need to start putting her in the picture so that by university, I definitely know if I do a good job, she will stand to make her own choices. But she may make the wrong choice, but I pray that she will make the right choice. I thank you for coming for this talk, because when we were university students, nobody ever talked to us. For us, we went to university and started juggling life on our own. For you, you're lucky that at least you come to a place like this during orientation, and at least you're fed with something that you might benefit from. Now, I want you to be aware that at university there is a lot of sexual immorality. There was a time we were told about statistics of the girls that are doing prostitution. The girls on the streets of Kampala or anywhere around that are doing prostitution, a big number of them were actually Makerere University students. And there are also people that rape students around this university. I have interacted to a girl that has been raped twice by guys around the university. One of them was actually her very good friend. And after a discussion, she forgot her book in his room. When she went back later to collect the book, the guy forced her and raped her. And the second time she was again raped by a group of guys, she was going back to her hostel. So beware that around this university, there are also people that are divine to, the devil is using them to do the wrong thing. And also among us, when we are relating, very many people are being involved in sexual affairs. And there's a lot about dating. Some of you, like of course my daughter is looking forward to getting a boyfriend. Some of you may already have boyfriends. And the question is, how are you relating with them? Are you already engaged sexually? Or is this boyfriend asking you for sex? Or you, the girl, you're actually asking the boy for sex? Because it's also two-way. Why? Because we are all normal. We have blood flowing in our system. We have emotions, you know? So anything may happen and you might be overpowered by emotions. There is also alcoholism. There is what we used to call in our times the big road at university. In Nkosi University, there was the big road. There were certain things that all university students kind of wanted to do. It was very okay for everybody to be in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, then for you, you would be the old man out. It was very okay for people to go dancing. If you don't go to disco, then you will be the old woman or old man out. So there are certain things around this Makerere that will be the things that people want to do on that big road. So you need to be very careful. And then we also have lesbians and gay people around our community. Even in Makerere, we have them. Someone can also be molested by a friend or a lecturer or whoever it is that you interact with. So beware that there are people ready to introduce you to lesbianism. I pray to God that those sitting here, none of you has yet walked that road. These relationships start way back even in school, especially single-sex schools. Yeah? So some people come with them and they don't want to relate with the opposite sex. They instead want to relate with you, people of the same sex. So beware of that as well. Now, the issue with engaging in premarital sex is that guys usually university guys are not yet ready to settle down in a relationship and have you as their person they want to marry. Usually, they are not yet ready. So if someone wants to engage in a sexual relationship, just know that you're enabling that person release their emotion and be ready to look for another prey. Okay? So you need to protect yourselves. No matter the temptation, protect yourself. Because once you lose your virginity, believe you me, the guy that has made you lose virginity is not even going to be the guy that will marry you. He will want to look for this modeled creature. He will not want to look for the one he has spoiled. Rarely do people want as first choices to look to the ones that have been spoiled. And for the guys, beware that the girls now have also changed. Those days it used to be the guys running after the ladies. But now the ladies have also been empowered. We are also running after the dudes. Okay? So beware that it's two-way and be very careful that you don't lose it. Because once you lose it and they reject you, you might not be able to survive with a rejection. And know that in first year, surely, people are not yet ready to settle down for marriage. And so I don't even expect anybody to start asking you for sex, not even in second year, not even in third year. As long as somebody has not married you, you have a lot to protect. But once you start engaging sexually, you will get married and then you begin to analyze and say, but the other boyfriend was much better than this husband of mine. And before you know it, when that boyfriend comes around, you will be tempted and you will cheat on your husband. That's the way it works. Usually, once you have had different sexual relationships, you begin to compare. Even with your spouse, you will compare. The other thing is that when people engage sexually, all of us have spirits within us. Some of us have bad spirits, others have good spirits. How many of you have heard of spirit husbands and wives? Like when you're sleeping, you see people dreaming like they're having sex. All those come in directly through premarital sexual relationship. So you might be sleeping with this guy or this woman, you don't know what spirits are entering you. You will only realize them when you're about to get married, or even as you leave. You'll be sleeping and someone tells you, hey, you are dreaming like you are having sex. And you'll be like, oh my God, where did this come from? And it comes straightforward through engaging in sexual affairs before marriage. Then you might say, okay, for the girls, people have this tendency of saying, once you're at university, you must date, because if you don't date, by the time you leave university, you'll have no one to marry you. That is not true. Okay? Date only if you're mature enough to stand the temptations that come with dating. Flee from dating once you know you're not yet mature enough to stand the temptations that come with dating. So, you may ask, is it okay to date or not? My answer is, right now, like I'm going to tell my daughter that I don't expect her to date. In first year, I don't. And I am very sure by the time she finishes first year, her maturity will have grown for her to date in second year and third year. Once you have the energy, the zeal, the protection, the self-control for your own body, then you're okay, very okay to date. Because you know there's where you stop in your dating. But if you're not yet empowered there, your spirituality is not yet mature to say no when someone is touching you, to say no when someone is hugging you in the wrong way, to say no. If you're not yet mature at that level, please do not risk. Because if you risk, you're definitely going to fall. There are very many activities around the university. There will be the freshers' ball, there will be the singles' dinner, there will be the university bazaars, there will be birthday parties, those birthday parties. There's a birthday party that I stopped my daughter from going, and it was a rich family, very rich, and it was at Kabira Country Club. Very prominent rich people. And the good thing is that we talk. I do a lot of talking with her. Even Daddy, we talk a lot with her. So she went for a birthday party in their home, and Daddy dropped her there. But the home is like, the house is like here, and the gate is like at the main entrance of the university. It's a big, massive place. You drive on tarmac to reach their house. The compound is exclusive. And they had a big tent for parents and another tent for the birthday girl and her friends. So they asked parents, if you want to stay around, it's okay. You have everything. Eat and drink everything you want as you wait for your children. And my daughter went there, and everybody that she was interacting with, including her friend, they were all on tablets, they were on phones, there was no interaction. And of course, Daddy was like, oh, okay, there is, goat roasts, I don't know what, they had even labels, the different drinks, soft drinks. It was really like a reception of sort. And before the party ended at 6, she called at around, they dropped her at around 11, and she called at around 3. And my husband was like, hey, is the party over? She's like, you know what, Daddy, I am bored. And he's like, you're bored? With everything that I saw, he's like, yes, I'm bored. So when we picked her up and we started engaging her, she said, everybody's on WhatsApp. People can eat whatever they want, but there's no interaction, there are no games. It's like, it's a whole world altogether. Even some people are drinking. And by the time we're picking her up at 6, some friends of theirs were just coming in. So now this time they throw the party at Kabira Country Club. You all know it's a very expensive hotel. And I was like, okay, now in a hotel setting, it's even worse. In a home setting, you can say, okay, maybe parents will be looking out and seeing what other people are doing. But now in a hotel, supposing it's my daughter that ends up in the hotel room. So we were like, you're not going. And she threw tantrums. And she was like, but Mom, it's just a party. I'm like, yes, it's a party, but it's in a hotel and you're not going. Why can't I go? Don't you trust me? All those questions started, don't you trust me, Mommy? What do you think? And we talked and she threw tantrums. But of course we said no, and she couldn't leave the house and go for the party. Later on, we discovered that actually even the cake that they ate that day had alcohol in it. So these birthday parties that you have around university, please be very careful. Be very careful where they are. Be very careful who you are with at the birthday party. Be very careful what time you leave those parties. Because the enemy is doing all sorts of schemes to ensure that they get people devoured. There will be singles dinners, and many of you may be still single and searching, and you're like, oh, this is the time for me to go and meet another single, and maybe we can hook up, because some of you fear that you may not be married if you don't find a spouse before you leave the university. But each of us has a different plan. God has a different plan for everyone. Some of you will get married after university. Others will get married way after you have even worked for some years. Others may even start being dated seriously from second year, and someone really even wants to marry you before even you finish your degree. So don't compare yourself with people. Everybody has his own laid out plan by God. Now, which of these activities should you attend? My view is that for every activity or every invitation, make an analysis. People like us who are HR people, we are not analytical. And for me, my husband is an IT specialist. So for him, he's very analytical. Even when we are discussing certain things, he analyzes things more than me. Me, I see things as simple, from the HR view, and for him, he does a lot of analytics. So I want you to be like a scientist and analyze Every invitation, every relationship you have with someone, go beyond and do an analysis. If I'm in this relationship, is it beneficial? Am I benefiting? If I told my mom about it, that I am going to this place, will mommy be happy? Will mommy be sad? If God was to talk to me today about this decision, will God be happy? Will God be sad? Do an analysis. It will help you make the right decisions, whether to attend those activities or not. Now, how are you going to survive as a university student? I want you to be intentional in the kind of friends that you make. When I am making friends as a person, I know who is the good friend, I know who is the bad friend. Take a decision. If you have a bad friend, for heaven's sake, flee away from the bad friends. If you have the good friends, for heavenly sake, invest in the good friends. Okay? So, but you have to be intentional about it. Don't go with the flow. We call it going with the flow. Now, you need to have a priority list in life. You're now a university student. What is your plan? What is your mission? What is your objective in these 3 years or 4 years or 5 years, depending on the course you're doing? Do you have a plan for your life? Do you have a mission? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to have the best grades, or do you want to just pass through school? The people who get past degrees, in HR we call them people who just pass through university. They just passed through university. They actually didn't go to university. And according to us, they don't even have a degree. So, do you want to pass through the university, or do you want to have a degree, and a good degree? Now, do not trust anybody. As a university student, do not trust anybody except God. Do not trust anyone, because your very close friends might be the devil's advocate. Okay? So don't trust anybody. Have spiritual mentors. Have people who help you grow spiritually. People who you look up to in the line of profession you're studying. Do not just trust anybody. Like the story I told you of a friend who, after the discussion, went back to the room of the guy and she ended up being raped. So do not trust people unless you have built a relationship over time. And even when you've built a relationship over time, don't put them in a fix. Don't give them the opportunity to actually tempt you. Now, I want each of you, after here, go in your own personal time and write down what kind of personality you want to develop. We call it in HR the personal brand. What is your personal brand? If I ask someone, or your roommate or your friend, what will they tell me this person is? Will they give me a good brand, or will they give me a very poor or bad brand? So as a person, write down, there should be at least 5 key things that me as a person, this is what I stand for, these are the things I will live up to, this is what I am going to do. So what do you want your personal brand to look like? Okay? Is it going to be someone rooted in the Word of God? Is it going to be someone who is living a life that is responsible at the university? Is it going to be someone who is living beyond their means? Because at university, you're tempted to live beyond their means. And the mere fact that you're living beyond your means, then you're even at risk for different people to violate your rights as a human being because of the need to live a certain status that you don't qualify. So, are you going to be this potential person someone would like to be around? Or are you going to be this person people will run away from? So think about those things as you develop your personal brand. Now, I want you to invest your time in things of God. Okay? Emma talked about cell ministry. Please invest your time in things of God. During your free time, come into here. St. Francis Chapel has very many activities. They have different fellowships. You can minister. You can work with the children. You can work with the youth. Come and get involved outside your school time. you will not invest this time in vain. You're going to grow spiritually and you're going to be protected as a person. So one of the take homes, go and draw your brand personality. And maybe in the future when we meet, you can actually stop me wherever you meet me and say, hey, Auntie Eva, by the way, this is what my brand looks like. Okay? I would definitely want to look at what people want to work up to and be as a brand. Now, sexual purity is very key. Like I said, when you have a lot of freedom, there's a lot of excitement and emotions run very high. The adrenaline often runs very high, and you might be swayed and you might lose your virginity. If you haven't yet lost it, please guard it so well, because you will enjoy your marriage in the future. If you have lost it, I'm going to ask you to repent. And there's also what we call secondary virginity. You have lost it. You turn to Christ and say, you know what, God, I lost it with Amos. I am not going to lose it again until for my husband. And you live with that decision, no matter what it is. That's what we call building a secondary virginity. Then be ready to learn new things. As you're here in university, you're going to interact with so many people. And when talks like this come, ensure you bring a notebook, take some notes, share with your friends who haven't come, learn a few things. If you're going through a challenge, talk to someone and ask them, how do I go about this? But it will also depend on the kind of people that you talk to. But I want you, during your free time, to learn. You will interact with so many people, and you can ask them, do you have volunteer work? Can I just come and volunteer to do something? You don't get paid, but you just go there to learn. Or you can be doing a certain course and you're like, oh, I hear you're doing this job and this is the course that I'm doing. There's this subject that is hard. What do you think? What are the skills that I should learn? People will give you advice. Okay? So be willing to learn new things and also read a lot. Now, one other thing I want you to note is that I need you to be able to manage pressures. The pressures are going to come. And pressures are real, okay? Even when you come here at church, we shall fill you with the word, we shall give you, empower you. As soon as you walk out of that door, the devil will be waiting. So the pressure is there. But the question is, are you prepared enough to stand the pressure of life? Okay? Sometimes books are so hard. There are times when my daughter calls me and says, Mommy, the books are just too hard. And there now, I know now, energy levels are going down. Yeah? And then I take a trip to the school and I sit with her and she's like, Mommy, the books are so hard. Mommy, the homework is too much. Mommy, the lecturers don't even let us rest. Mommy, this. And now, there are going to be those moments where the university is hard. The academic pressure is too hard. Assignments are like assignments. And you need people to energize you and empower you and encourage you to stick in there because you have to walk through it, okay? So the pressures are real. There are going to be pressures where you have so many people coming to get to you, yeah? I remember in my life before I got married, when my husband was dating me, everything was clear. But the moment he proposed, I had like 5 other different guys all wanting to come also. And I was like, God, am I cursed? Many people coming to get to you. So as freshers, there are also people who are looking out for these freshers because they know you're still innocent, you're still okay, you're still humble, you haven't learned the behaviors around Kampala. Even the guys are still humble guys. So there are many who want to prey on you guys. So what are you going to do amidst those pressures? Because they are very real, okay? Now, you need to seek career guidance. Quite often I interact with people and they want to grade the degrees, yeah? Oh, Auntie Eva, I was told I'm doing Bachelor's of Arts in Arts, which is not a very good degree. They say only those ones who are doing maybe accounting or engineering or mechanical work, those are the good degrees. I want you to seek career guidance. All degrees are good degrees. What matters most is what is the skill that you have as a person. In recruitment right now, we are even going away from looking at the degree that you have. We want to look at this person. Can this person learn the job? Is this person with the right attitude? Is this person flexible? Is this person ready to learn? Is this person so energetic to do the work? We are even forgetting about the degrees. So let nobody tell you that, oh, your degree which you're doing is a bad one, is I don't know which one, this one is the best one. I know people who have the degrees that you so-called the bad ones, who have excelled much better than the people who are not, who have actually what we call the right degrees. Actually, in most cases, the people who succeed in life are people who have these other normal degrees because they are ready to learn, ready to do anything. Those with the good degrees are so slow. They regard themselves as very clever. They are struggling. We actually do a lot of support for the people with these other degrees that you call the very good ones, more than we do even for these other degrees. So as a student, just know that whatever degree that you have been admitted to, it is not a wrong degree. All I want you to do is concentrate and pass your papers and get a good degree. Don't just walk through university and get a pass degree, because a pass degree now, even government of Uganda, which is the largest employer, does not take people with past degrees. So no matter what the degree is, nobody should undermine you that their degree is better than yours. Just tell them, this is the degree that I've been admitted to and I'm going to pass it, I'm going to give it my best. And always work towards academic excellence. Now, I want you people to manage the love affairs, because this is something that is part of us as we relate to people. Yeah? People are going to come to you and appreciate you as a person. Don't just run away and lock yourself in the bedroom or in your rooms because someone has said he likes you. I've interacted with people who are actually like going to die because someone tells them, I love you, and now they don't know what to answer, but they are shivering. They're like they even have malaria. Okay? Now, I want you to manage your love relationship. It is normal for someone to express themselves to you, but I want you to have, you remember the priority list that I talked about? We can be friends for as long as my priority, number one, has not yet been achieved. Have different priorities, and number one right now is for you to excel in your degree. It has nothing to do with you getting married before you finish your degree, or you having sex with someone, or you giving birth for them to prove that actually you're fertile. It has nothing to do that. Just manage the love affair. One of the qualities for a good man is one who will wait for you and one who is going to be patient. If you have a boyfriend and he wants to have sex with you and you tell him, you know what? We can only have sex when we are married. If he's a good person, he will stay around you as your friend. Once you see him running away, just know just kneel down and even thank God and say, thank you for saving me from this creature. Okay? And if it's the girls that are tempting you, the guys, because now, like I said, things have changed. Even us girls, we are now very outspoken. We just walk to you and tell you, you know what, Dennis, deep down my heart, I even dreamt that me and you were in a relationship. So I don't want you to deny me. You're not going to even, don't live up to tantrums. Just tell them that, oh, thank you for appreciating me, and leave it at that. Then wait for the person to do again another move. If they just want to be friends, be their friends. But have your very strong protection. Because once you lose it, believe you me, when it comes to marriage, these people will look for a modeled person, like I already told you. Then, when things go wrong, things can go wrong. Things can go wrong, and you have sex with someone and you feel, oh my God, it is finished. The end of the world has come. Or you had it once and you got yourself pregnant. Or you had it once and you got HIV/AIDS. Or you had it once, you had sexually transmitted disease and you even fear to go to hospital and say that I have an STD. Or you had it once and the next day the guy chucked you or the lady chucked you. You know, things can actually go wrong. Or you fail your exam. You read so hard under the security light, wherever you can read from. For us, we used to even go under the security light because there the wind will blow you, you will not even doze. Yeah? That's where we used to read. So I don't know where you are going to read from. So you can give it all your best. But then when results come back, you have failed. Things have gone wrong. What do you do when things go wrong? You're not going to kill yourself. You're not going to curse yourself. You're not going to feel like now you're less of anything. I want you to encourage yourself. First, start by forgiving yourself. And you say, okay, I think I failed here because of ABCD. And you acknowledge that actually I went wrong because of this. And then learn from your mistakes. Like I said, if you're here and you lost your virginity, you're not yet married. Just stop it from today and say, you know what? I was made wonderfully in the image of God and no more to this sex thing. And tell your boyfriend, you know what? It is over. If you want to have me, we shall relate, but without sex. And you make this decision and say, you know what? I did it the other time. I am not the same person now. I am a different one and I won't do it. Because we often talk to people, you counsel them, you talk to them, and they tell you, yes, I have stopped. Actually, I'll not even go to his room. And even I'm not even going to visit him in the night because sometimes he calls me. Before you know it, she again comes and says, you know, okay, I don't know what happened, but I just found myself there. How did you find yourself there? You have every control in yourself not to go there. Yeah? So like I'm saying, if you went there the first time, pick up your pieces and do not do it again. Learn from that mistake. And for those who are raped, if you have been raped, please report. Report the rape incidents. It is something we must fight. And so don't keep quiet about it, because when you keep quiet about it, it will affect you even in the future. Recently, we were trying to manage a marriage where the girl was actually raped and the husband didn't know. So when they are relating, you know, in their lovey-dovey, the girl treats the husband like a rapist. And he's like, I don't want, because she keeps remembering the rape case. And before you knew it, she later confessed that actually I was raped and this is why I behave like this. So once you have gone through a rape, please don't keep quiet, okay? Help us fight the rapists. We shall fight them when you come up and talk to us and tell us about them. Find a mentor. Find a mentor. Find someone you're going to look up to. It can be an academic mentor. It can be a social mentor. It can be, if you're struggling with your finances, talk to someone who knows, who may assist you on how to make a budget, a monthly or a weekly budget. If it is a relationship, talk to someone who will help you. I remember a guy I was mentoring, and he had someone he loved so much, but then he didn't know how to tell her. And I was like, if you don't tell her, somebody else is going to tell her and you will miss her. And he was like, no, don't talk like that, Auntie Eva, don't look like that. I said, now you must tell her. And like, but how will I tell her? So then I asked him, where do you normally meet? He was like, there's a place near Livingstone Hall where he normally would go and see her. And in that place, I said, okay, what you do, you get a piece of chalk and just get the wall and just write the sentence there. If you can't speak it, and let her read it, and it will be done. And actually, he wrote down, he didn't write on the wall, he wrote in the sand. And as we speak now, actually, they are married, you know. They are a few months married. So get a mentor and then promote godliness. The only way you're going to promote godliness is when you're involved in activities of the church. It's the only way you're going to promote godliness. There is no one perfect, but one thing I know, that we the born agains, there is a very high spirit of discernment. If we choose to do the wrong thing, the Spirit will have already talked to us that, you know what you're going to do is wrong. Now, for people who are not born again, it is hard for you even to tell the difference between what is good and what is bad. You're even worse off, okay? So for you to promote godliness, if there are any people who are not born again, I'm going to request you that you either, I don't know, since Dennis is here, we can have an altar call before they go, whoever is really led to turn to Christ and begin to walk in the right way. It doesn't mean that you will be perfect in everything, but when you fall, you will actually have an opportunity to get up. Now be bold. Be bold. If you don't like someone, don't fear to tell them. Okay? There are people who are in this relationship around the university and you're like, me, I don't know what to do. I actually even don't like the girl, but I don't know how to tell her. Why? Don't lead someone on if you don't like them. Please tell them. Tell them, you know what, I appreciate that you like me, but the fact is that I actually don't feel like being in a relationship with you. Tell them, because you will save them from breaking their hearts. Rather than you pretending and acting that you're very good friends, you're actually even dating, and yet you're actually living a life of a lie. You're actually also fooling yourself. And you know the Bible is very clear about people who are foolish. So be bold and speak up and tell people, okay? The other thing is be humble. When we come as first years, we interact with many people of different walks of life. There are those who are from rich families. There are those who are from humble families. There are those who are actually, they've rented for you even an apartment while you're at university. You just come from an apartment. There are those who are even struggling to get even money for accommodation. Different walks of life. But I want you to be very humble people. Okay? If you're the kind of person that has a roommate that is below your standard, be humble and treat them well. Okay? The Bible tells us that in Mark 12:31, it says one of the greatest commandments, the second to the one of loving God, is loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay? And something that has motivated me in my entire journey of life is that whatever I will sow, I will definitely reap. If I don't reap it, my children will reap it. If my children do not, my grandchildren will. So if you treat someone badly, just be sure that either your children or you yourselves or your grandchildren will actually pay for it. Okay? So be humble. Don't despise anybody. Don't despise your friends' courses. Don't despise people. Then lastly, I know Emma and his team will tell you about the different activities of church. And one of the things I have benefited from was cell. And I used to attend cell before I got married. And I remember when we were dating with my husband, he would even drop me at cell. And then he even said, oh, if you want a lift back, I can even come and pick you. He would even come and pick me from cell. But I remember getting a lot of support, a lot of strength, a lot of focus from the cell members. Okay? And these people have become actually like relatives to me, more than even my blood relatives. Things happen in my life that cell members know about, which even my family people don't know about. Okay? And I can rely on them for anything because of the relationship we built when we were in cell. So I encourage you people to join the small groups. You're going to grow not only spiritually, but even socially. We also actually, at one time, our cell, all the couples in there were dating in our cell. And our cell leader at that time kept even saying, but you guys, I know you're all dating. We were about 5 people dating. They're like, I know you guys are dating. Why aren't the guys proposing? You guys, why aren't you proposing? And the guys kept saying, I remember even my husband saying, perfect timing. There's not yet a perfect timing, you know. And we're all in fellowship. We met in fellowship. Couples meet in fellowship, they get married and are living very happy, very happy. So join fellowships. It has a lot of benefits. And church activities, be involved, be involved. Then I want you to build your self-esteem. Nobody is going to build self-esteem for you. Just know you are an important person. You have a right. You have a reason why God created you. You are beautiful and handsome. Even if someone tells you now, you're from this village, and they even just helped you and admitted you at the university, don't go down the road with such people. Take yourself to be very important in the eyes of God. The God who created you knows that you're a special person. Okay? So don't build your own self-esteem. Be confident about yourself. I encourage you to also interact. Don't shy away from speaking to a boy. If you've been in a single-sex school all through, don't shy away from speaking to a boy. If it's a girl, don't shy away also from speaking to the girls. And don't despise any guys. Because I know young girls sometimes, as you live at campus, your standards raise, and before you know it, you now don't qualify to relate with people like the Emmas. Yeah? You want to relate with people like governors, directors, or someone else working class. Yeah? But remember that the people you despise are actually the humble ones that can make the best marriage in the future. Okay? So don't despise and be humble. Now, lastly, I would like to share my testimony while I was at university. I already told you at the beginning, my roommate was a Burundian, and she didn't know how to speak English. And I was like, this is going to be the worst experience. Of course, I started by judging her. I was very selfish. I actually went and told the warden that I want to change the roommate. I pray to God that none of you does that, because it was very selfish. And when I came back to pick my things to go to another room, she actually begged me and said, please don't go. Please stay. Stay, you're going to teach me English and I'm going to teach you French. Please stay. And I stayed. And we were very good friends by the time we left university. I loved dancing. Like I told you at the beginning, I loved dancing. And for us, my parents used to live up country. And I was in Nkozi, Uganda Matters University. It's on Masaka Road. And I loved dancing. And then my cousin, I had a cousin here at Makerere who was a minister for information. And you know, minister for information, you know everything that is going on around the university. And that was my cousin. Now my mom gave me enough pocket money. I never lacked any money. Even when I wanted more money, I would make my friend ring her and say, hello, Mommy Eva, we are here, we are okay, reading hard, but you know we are broke. And then Mommy would send money. Yeah? But because I loved dancing, every Friday I was here at Makerere University. And my cousin, Bambi, may her soul rest in peace, she passed on, she had sickle cells. She would always have program. Always have program. There is this launch of I don't know what, we go. There is this launch, I don't know what, I don't know club what is opening, I don't know what. Now me, my pocket money, for her she was broke. Me, I had the money. So all the special hires that we took, I remember for that first year was my pocket money. She would even and we used to call using the call booth. There were no mobile phones. So she said, Eva, are you coming? Come, there is this launch. Oh, I'm in a taxi. And you know how Masaka Road can be. So terrible. I just thank God that my life was saved. I never got any accident within that first year. And would come, all I knew was to dance. Anywhere where there was music and I would be dancing, that was mine. The thing that saved me from sexual immorality was that my cousin told me that, you know what, Eva, all the guys at university, when they sleep with you, the whole university will know. So don't even dare, don't even risk, don't. And she spoke about it over and over. And actually, all throughout my entire campus life, I never ever dated. And anybody who would come to befriend me, I was so mean. And I would tell me, Sha, you just want to make me a topic. And I was so mean. Actually, if you ask anybody that studied in Ngozi University during our years, 97 to 99, they'll tell you how Eva was a very stubborn girl. And I never ever dated people. Why? Because my cousin told me, if you sleep with someone at university, you are finished. So all I used to do was to dance. And even when you go dancing in those lights that are blinking, disco lights, you're like you're in heaven. People want to catch you. People want to give you a lift. People want to do one. But we always had special hire money to bring us back here at CCE. And the warden, is it the warden or custodian who used to open for us? We used to give him also some money. So anytime we'd come back, they would open for us. And Friday evening, I'm on a taxi back to Ngozi University for the entire first year. But I realized that Ngozi University was a very tough place. If you don't pass, they actually make, even if you miss 1 mark to get 50, you would go back and do a retake. Now for me, that's how I survived. And I survived, guys. It's after 3rd year, actually, that I started dating. The first guy I dated in my life. So, your case may not be like me. And remember, there were very many people who want to get to me. Very many. They are going to come to you, young girls, because you're all beautiful. Yeah? They are going to come. But what is that you're going to stand on? The other thing also was that I loved my mom very, very much because I'm her only child. And she gave me everything. So each time it would be time for exams, Maureen would call and I would not even want to hear. I would be reading because on my mind it was, what will my mom say? And I remember in 2nd year and 3rd year, I studied on a scholarship because I passed. I was among the people that did very well. So one of the motivation was my mom and my cousin. I don't know who your motivation is going to be for you to survive the pressures and the temptations at campus. Is it going to be your mom? Is it going to be your guardian? Is it going to be your dad? Is it going to be your elder brother, your sister? I don't know who it's going to be, but there is always that one person who you don't want to hear any bad story. I don't know who it is. For me, it was my mom. I didn't want her to hear that even Eva was coming to university to dance. I didn't even want her to hear that I had even failed any paper. So I don't know who that special person in life is. I just pray that whenever you're going to do something wrong, you think about those people that are special in your life. It will be a motivation for you to stand against a temptation. In conclusion, university is the first place of excellence and exposure. It is a rare opportunity for you to be at university. Very many people want to come to university, but they can't. They can't make it. Many families want to have a university graduate. Many families don't even have university graduates. You have this opportunity. I want you to take this as the best thing that has happened in your life. Focus that life after university, we are going to be asking, what is your brand as a person? What is your personality? So whatever you do around here, just know that it's going to affect your personality. So guard yourselves very, very well. Guard yourself. But one thing I want to tell you is that if you have no Christ in you, you're going to struggle more than an ordinary person. So you are safer turning to Christ than struggle when you're outside Christ. May the Lord bless you.